The first shot at Pearl Harbor was not fired by Japan. It was fired by an American destroyer a full hour before the attack began. And it was reported, ignored. Then a radar station saw the entire Japanese strike force coming, 53 minutes out. Ignored. A war warning from Washington? It arrived by messenger after the bombs. This is the story of the most catastrophic surprise in American history, which was not, in fact, a surprise at all. 90 minutes that killed 2,400 people, dragged America into World War II, and doomed the empire that planned it. Because Japan's perfect attack missed the only 3 targets that mattered. On paper, the plan was insane. Take 6 aircraft carriers, the largest carrier force ever assembled, and sail them 3,500 miles across the empty North Pacific, through fog and winter storms, in total radio silence. Refuel in seas that sink tankers. Arrive undetected within 200 miles of the best-defended American base on Earth. Admiral Yamamoto, who had studied in America and seen its factories, knew Japan could never win a long war. So he bet everything on making it short, destroy the US Pacific Fleet in one Sunday morning before the war even officially began. And yet, the warning started long before the first bomb. In November, Washington sent Hawaii a formal war warning. Those exact words. At 3:42 on the morning of December 7th, a minesweeper spotted a periscope where no submarine should be. At 6:37, the destroyer USS Ward found a Japanese midget submarine creeping toward the harbor entrance and sank it. Gunfire, depth charges, a confirmed kill. The Ward radioed it in immediately. The first American shots of the Second World War fired more than an hour before the attack. The report crawled up the chain of command, where officers decided to wait for confirmation. At 7:02, at a radar station on Oahu's northern tip, 2 young privates watched the biggest blip either had ever seen crawl onto their screen. Not a plane. A wall of planes over 130 miles out and closing. They called it in. The lieutenant on duty knew a flight of American bombers was due from California that morning and gave the most expensive answer in military history. Don't worry about it. 53 minutes of warning. Thrown away. And Washington's final alert, sent that very morning, went by commercial telegram. A messenger delivered it, hours after the attack. At 7:55, the sky filled. 183 aircraft in the first wave alone. The code word crackled over the radio. Tora, Tora, Tora. Surprise achieved. On Battleship Row, 7 giants sat in a neat, helpless line. Torpedoes fitted with special wooden fins for the shallow harbor ran straight and true. The Oklahoma took 9 of them and rolled over completely, trapping over 400 men inside her upturned hull. Then a single armor-piercing bomb punched through the deck of the USS Arizona and found her forward ammunition magazine. The explosion lifted a 30,000-ton battleship out of the water. 1,177 men died in an instant. With the harbor burning, men fought back anyway. Doris Miller, a ship's cook who had never been trained on a weapon, dragged his wounded captain to cover, then manned a machine gun and fired at everything with a red circle on it. He became the first black sailor ever awarded the Navy Cross. The battleship Nevada, hit, burning, did the unthinkable. She got underway, one ship running for the open sea through the middle of the apocalypse. The second wave, 170 planes, hammered her so hard she had to beach herself to avoid blocking the harbor for everyone else. 90 minutes. When the smoke cleared, 2,403 Americans were dead, including 68 civilians. 19 ships sunk or crippled. Nearly 200 aircraft destroyed, most of them on the ground, parked wingtip to wingtip to guard against saboteurs, and lined up perfectly for bombs instead. Japan lost 29 planes. The next day, President Roosevelt asked Congress for war. Within a week, the fighting circled the entire planet. But look closer at the wreckage, and Japan's perfect morning falls apart. The prime targets, America's Pacific aircraft carriers, were not there. By pure chance, every single one was at sea. The attackers ignored the fuel farm, 4.5 million barrels of oil sitting in unarmored tanks. Burn those, and the surviving fleet retreats to California for a year. They ignored the repair yards, which would soon resurrect almost everything they sank. Of the 19 ships hit that morning, all but 3 returned to the war. And historians still argue why Admiral Nagumo, with victory in his hands, refused to launch a third strike. Japan had won 90 minutes and left everything that mattered untouched. Then came the revenge, and it started in a basement. The codebreakers of Station Hypo, working just up the hill from the burning ships, were untouched that morning. 6 months later, they broke Japan's naval code and led American dive bombers straight to 4 of the 6 carriers that launched this attack at a place called Midway. We told that story. It took 5 minutes. Yamamoto himself had warned his own government, "Let me run wild for 6 months. After that, I promise nothing." He got exactly 6 months. Today, the Arizona still lies where she fell, 900 men still aboard, 1 drop of oil rising to the surface every few seconds. Survivors call them the Black Tears. Of the morning America was warned and didn't listen.